And good evening. We're back.
I just realized Brian and I are wearing the same color.
You are.
Damn it!
Birthday interruption.
I should have left my black on. That way, me and Matt could have matched.
Oh!
I changed my clothes.
Quick! Get out! Come back!
Get out.
Go!
No.
Get out.
Get out of here, you dumb, stupid animal.
Get out alive.
Let's see. All right. Okay.
I don't think I took any notes. Oh, I took very few notes last session.
No,
There's really no reason to take them.
I
It
meant
was
to
very
rewatch.
hard to take notes last. So.
I'm pretty sure there were some key things the vampire
Yes,
said.
those
That
are
would've been good.
those are the only notes I have.
Oh, good, because I meant to go back and grab them, and I forgot.
Oops.
My knees are popping.
So. All right. So. Last week, the Fellowship enacted their plan to spoil Cirion's attempt to essentially overthrow Captain Turgon and Osgiliath. With some cinematic magic, we did a brief gap of time where we just sort of jumped right to the point, where later in the early morning in Osgiliath, where the sun is yet to rise, an enemy force began a raid at multiple points along the city. As the Gondorian forces began to stretch thin, the Fellowship stepped in and did what they could while all the while looking for Turgon. Cirion held the line at the main gate, taking command of whatever Gondorian soldiers were there to fight. The rest of them went off along the northern embankment of the wall, observing most of where the fighting was taking place as goblins and orcs were scaling the walls either by climbing or by ladder. They eventually found from a distance a Cirion approaching Turgon on the wall. By the time they arrived, a Cirion had set his sights pretty squarely on Turgon, and they didn't quite get there in time for, at least for the main fight to stop. With goblins and orcs sort of overrunning the wall, Fig and Malvhor and even Locke sped their way towards the wall and joined the fray, pushing back the orcs, and Fig, for the most part, interjecting herself between Turgon and Cirion, and for the most part, stopped Cirion dead in his tracks, wasn't able to approach Turgon any further. And just when the fight seemed to be tipping the scale, a new individual seemed to take to the field from the forest outskirts of Ithilien. With a dramatic entrance, beheading a hobgoblin with their bare hands, a tall, human-like creature revealed herself and brandished fangs and monstrous claws, and even at one point, several points in fact, revealed bat-like wings, leaping to the air and taking flight to maneuver around the wall and around her supposed enemies to cause some real havoc amongst the ranks of both forces, seemingly not to care of who she attacked, whether it be orc and goblin or Gondorian. While words were exchanged during this fight, a momentary truce was called thanks to Malvhor, and Turgon and Cirion seemed to join forces to fend off this new threat. As they slowly seemed to push her back one by one and actually got her off the wall and down to the ground outside the city, daybreak was upon them, and with that knowledge, this creature took her opportunity and returned to the forest, leaving the aftermath of the raid in her wake. But only did she make several points that there was tribute being hoarded in the city, and that was her main reason for being here, and that her and her kind have been betrayed. And that's where we're going to pick up tonight. As somewhat immediately after the fact, as Fig, as you're down on the ground, you take a moment and pick up one of the kicked off ladders and put it up against the wall and sort of escort a Cirion back to the top of the wall, where you now stand in the rain with Turgon and the rest of your fellowship, including Cirion, who did arrive late to the battle, but arrived that he did.
Oh yeah, I was using my cape to stop the bleeding, or my cloak. I took it off.
Yes.
Is there music playing?
There is.
I was just about to ask that.
Okay, apparently that track is worthless because every time you guys say nothing plays. Okay. So good to know. I thought that would have changed by now, but apparently not.
Kevin's dying.
And then,
Okay.
Then there were two.
That's
There we
fucking
go.
I hear rain.
Let's turn on some rain,
That's working.
and
It's raining sideways.
we'll do this one for now. I'll turn this up and the rain down. That one might take a second. All right. The early morning is yours, just as the sun begins to peek over the eastern horizon, and for the most part is warm and welcomed to your party, seeming to have been night owls for the past few days.
Oh yeah.
Blinding initially, but you do eventually welcome in the sun rays with its warmth. What would you like to do?
Figure out what the fuck that was.
I'm going to, I guess, check on Cirion now that we've kind of reconvened. Is he, like, okay? Like, is the cloak helping at all? Or is he being stubborn?
What is okay?
All right.
Is he okay?
Give me a medicine check.
Oh. No.
Hey.
15. I don't know why that's at
15.
advantage. Okay. Fixed it.
You're no stranger to combat wounds, and Cirion, for the most part, you see, isn't really wearing armor. It's mostly just a tabard and cloth sort of garment. So any strikes that did land on him, and a lot of them did, were pretty solid hits. He's got several puncture wounds around the neck, 3 gash slashes across the abdomen, and a knife stab in the back. It's just sort of like middle back, just off the shoulder blade, missing the spine.
This
God
guy.
damn.
He has seen better fucking days.
But does any of that look fatal? Does it seem like he's about to keel over, or is there a sign that he's going to be fine and survive or whatever?
It's a little touch and go. He is still bleeding. Your cloak is helping for the bulk of it.
Sure.
You do see, while for the most part you're accustomed to him having a little bit of like a sun-kissed complexion, a little darker skinned than most Gondorians that you've come across, he is looking a little pale.
Okay.
And he is like sort of, as you guys get to the top of the wall, though begrudgingly, he doesn't really want to put it on. He is sort of leaning against you for support.
That's fine. I'll give him some more support. And how tall is he?
He's taller than you, I believe. I don't have the note in me. I think he's like 6'4", just like 6'6" or something.
Oh, I'm 6'4", so.
Okay.
Okay. I'll just kind of lean into him a little more to give him more support and just go, you, of all people, need to rest. We can discuss later.
And what sort of accommodations are appropriate for somebody in my position? Well, that would definitely be something worth discussing.
Probably the healer's house first, to make sure you don't die.
Yes. Agree.
I'm not so inclined about that. Go ahead and give me a persuasion check, Malvhor.
14.
14.
You know, I just want to go on rant really quick. I have plus 11, and I usually roll like 14 to 15. You know what that means? That means I'm rolling like 3 to 4 on the dice.
It's like Sesame Street. Today's number is.
Yesterday.
Well, from the actions that he's performed in the last few weeks, and especially that of tonight, I'd much rather take him back to the Bastion and lock him away in a cell and have somebody tend to him there. But if you think his wounds are that serious, House of Healing is much closer.
Better make sure survives than dying.
Before we're on top of the wall, right?
Right.
Before we leave the wall, I just want to turn to a Cirion. And I just want to say to a Cirion, and I just want to... Wow, I wanted, and I do like you, a Cirion. But I don't know what got in your head that led to this. And I gesture out to the wall of dead Gondorians.
There will come a time, Malvhor, whether it is in your career as a mercenary, or in your personal life, in whatever you see fit, that to achieve what you believe is right, that you must swallow some sacrifices, and in such, lose a piece of yourself.
How about you tell that to the widows and orphans?
Damn.
He bends down and gets right to eye level with you.
I have a little shoulder, yeah.
Yeah. I've given that letter and given that speech to scores of men under my command. Each one sticks with me. This is no different.
Come. Get out of the rain before we all catch cold. Been a long night.
As we walk, while we're getting out of the rain, I'm gonna inform Turgon what was going on at the wall that I was at. Just kind of give him like a debrief in a way.
Well, it sounds like the defenses hold, thanks to you then.
The men were brave, sir.
As they should be, in the hour of the city's need. We were lucky to have you at the wall there and at the gate. Take a command when you needed to. Whatever transpires in the next day or so, if you are intent on leaving the city, come find me. I have words to discuss with you before your departure.
Sir.
You guys, I assume, move off the wall and begin heading towards a House of Healing.
Mm-hmm.
It's only a few minutes walk from where you are, especially at Turgon's pace, or Akirion's pace at this point. He's not terribly slowed. He's sort of pushing through it. He's one of those stubborn individuals that doesn't matter how injured they get, they're gonna push through it until they keel over. Early in the morning, just as the sun begins to illuminate this side of Osgiliath, you see sort of like a younger individual walking out from the houses of healing and sort of lighting or dousing the sconces that kept it lit overnight. Oh, my word, you all look in a terrible state. What can we do for you?
I just pointed at Cirion while like holding him.
Just
Right. Well, we'll take him from here. 2 guards should be posted by his bedside at all times. Very well, sir. Then 2 of yours can come with me, and I'll admit him. Very good. You. Follow Cirion. Do not leave his side. And they usher Cirion inside. And at this point, as you watch him walk in, the rain begins to subside. Well, if he pulls through, then I'll have words with him. If he dies, then we can bury this all behind us.
You may need more than words. I wasn't able to relay the full extent of Cirion's treachery in the heat of battle. He intentionally lured the orcs to attack Osgiliath. Those men out there are dead by his direct action.
That might very well be true. That might very well be true. But all this transpired due to whatever disagreements he believed he had with me, and for whatever reason, didn't feel as if he could speak to me about them. And there were those that were loyal to him and followed him into this madness. But, for now, thanks to you lot, Osgiliath can sleep a little bit better this next evening. We held the wall, and the Cirion's dealt with for now. So maybe in the coming weeks, things can get back to some semblance of normal in this city. Whatever normal is.
Will you lift
after seeing that, sir, I don't know if normal will be a thing right now.
As close as we can get.
I mean, you'll lift the martial law?
The Cirion dealt with. The main reason for the martial law is no longer relevant. I'll dispatch word to Minas Tirith. While those that reside here, we can probably welcome trade back into the city. Though in light of recent events, I wouldn't exactly deem Osgiliath a safe place to live for newcomers.
Indeed.
Sir, what are we gonna do? I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room. What are we gonna do about that thing that was flying around? Do we even know what the hell that thing was?
I've never seen a goddamn thing like that in my life.
It was demanding tribute, insinuating, stating that what perhaps was once paid has been hoarded.
The fuck debt was that thing talking about?
I couldn't even venture a guess.
Well, regardless of debt, we need to figure out a way to take that thing down if it decides to come back.
Well, we did see it return to Ithilien. Perhaps the rangers in there will keep tabs on it, or at least feed us with some sort of information about its whereabouts.
If she didn't take care of them also.
If she took out the entire force of rangers in Ithilien, then she's been at work for a lot longer than we thought. Those ranges are spread from here to Pelagia. But as far as what her demand for tribute is, I do not know. Nothing... No one in this city of any relevance that I'm aware of had dealings with any creatures beyond Gondor. Then again, I suppose that's the nature of it, isn't it?
Another mystery.
Maybe in
feel like-
time we'll figure it out.
I feel like the more we unbury and the more we uncover, more questions come out.
What else have you uncovered? You have been away from the city for a while. Is there anything I should be aware of?
Other than the fact, you know pretty much everything. The creature known as Mordu. Those rituals going on underneath the city.
Well,
Maybe those kind of things are connected.
It's a possibility that whatever was beneath the city that one night what had ties to this creature, but no one was left alive. There's no one to question. Quite honestly, the only ones that were there that are breathing are you four.
we got there too late to, We got there just before they pulled the cave down on top of us.
Although Mordu did say that we did do him a favor here.
Yes, to elaborate on Cirion's statement, it appears there are two major factions of orc fighting each other for domination. Mordu, also known as the Mouth of Sauron, leads one, and the Witch King leads the other, as far as we understand.
Well, that could very well work to our advantage. Let them kill each other. That's for us to deal with. But clearly, as he sort of gestures to all of us, Gilith, we have our own problems.
Indeed. We are planning something nefarious, though. Some sort of ritual to bind something to Middle-earth. We don't know the details yet.
Well, that's certainly above my pay grade.
Which is why we came here for Adol's notes, to get to the bottom of that.
Well, whatever is in that book, I hope it helps you.
I hope it does, too.
So what will you lot do now? That you've got what you came for and stopped an impromptu raid on the city.
I must return to Pelagia.
I see the rest of you have oodles and oodles of plans.
Wait,
I wanna figure out what the hell that thing was.
Fig is she's listening, but she's a little lost in thought, slowly running the ribbon at the end of her axe through her fingers.
Okay.
I'm kind of like tapping the pommel of my sword with my left hand, just kind of like thinking and going through in my head, and pretty much just saying what I did. I'm gonna try and go do research on that monster, figure it out. What the fuck?
Research, definitely not my strong suit, but considering I haven't heard anything of it in my time,
That's how I go on.
you might
Just think out
you,
loud.
you might have better luck researching elsewhere. That or going to go and find her and talk to her. You're more than welcome to do that. Get yourself killed.
Cirion just kind of goes, tempting, but not drunk
Too
enough for
long
that, sir.
of a trip.
I'm sorry?
It could be too long of a trip.
Where would the destination be?
The last time I ran into a creature like that was the mountains of Greenwood.
That is definitely a trek from here. But you've encountered this creature before?
Your mic didn't pick up that.
What was that?
Once.
So you lived to tell the tale twice. No small feat.
Vig, do you know what that thing was?
No.
Fuck.
The first time my friend and I barely survived.
Your elf friend, if I remember hearing correctly.
Yes.
The way she spoke, I figured they perished.
Oh my god, my voice. As far as I know, he's still alive. On his own adventures.
Well, then maybe the elves of the Greenwood would have more insight to these things than Gondor. But I digress. I'm tired, and this is going to be a nightmare of a report. If you are interested, you can spend the day at the Bastion, get some rest, get some... It's not good food, but it'll sustain you, that's for sure. There's not much left in this city. The unfortunate side effect of martial law is not too much trade comes in here, only what is necessary. Hopefully in time things will pick up. Then, from there, do what you want. Head to the Greenwoods, run into Athelion, return to Peligir, whatever suits you.
And we're not
you do-
wanted anymore.
No. Honestly, you never really were. It was enough to flesh out this incursion. But to be perfectly honest, I thought we'd get a bigger fish out of this. The Cirion's treachery, while it hits closely, it's not really something thought out through his mind. Though, maybe that's how he fooled me.
I do feel there's something more. That pushed him. I feel he isn't the end of what has occurred here.
Well, by the Valar's grace, it will be. The city could use a break.
Speaking of breaks, I could certainly use one.
Well, like I said, the Bastion is open to you. You're welcome to come and go freely.
I feel like I could sleep for a week.
Captain?
Well, if you don't mind, I need to return to my office, tend to my men, write this report, and dispatch a message to Minas Tirith. Take care. And again, Cirion, before you leave, come find me.
Kind of like stand, just kind of like posture up a little bit. Sir.
One captain to another. Don't do that.
Cirion just kind of like gets like almost like a surprised look in his eyes because no one has really called him that in a while. And
Turgon walks off west towards the west side, going across the bridge past the Dome of Stars, leaving the four of you behind.
I'm gonna put my bloody cloak back on that's covered in Akirion's blood, and then just look at the three of you, and just go, food, bed.
I'm gonna have to stop calling you.
Kind of like not like mocking big, but like also just kind of like just in a friendly jest, be like, yes, ma'am.
I'll still like narrow my eyes a little at you though, and like.
Then I'll just wink at you and give you like a little smirk and go, I'm going to bed. I don't even need food right now. I don't even need ale, and that should tell you both, tell you three everything.
I could go for a bite. I'm gonna have to stop calling you. I might have to stop calling you kid, Captain.
Cirion just kind of like, I don't even like turn to face you. I'm like walking off to the bastion for bed and be like, no need for Captain.
Whatever you say, sir.
Cirion just kind of like just tucks his head like, ah, and keeps walking. Enjoy, you three.
So Cirion walks off, heading back towards the bastion. You two?
I mean, yeah, bastion's the place where food's gonna be, so.
Food, bed.
Making sure. Making sure.
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
peruse the city for stuff. All right. You all meander back towards Cirior's bastion on the west side of the Anduin. Cirion finds the quarters that he could best call a comfortable day's sleep at this rate. The rest of you stop off in a small mess hut, really, where there's a fire pit dug out in front, and there's sort of a pot hanging over a fire, and one individual with a messy apron is just stirring an early morning stew as the three of you walk over. I've been told by Captain Turgon that you lot are more than welcome to have any meals that we have here for you today. So if that's what you need, as he pours the stew into like 3 sort of carved out wooden bowls. Here you go.
Nothing like army food.
Bring the army now.
You eat what you can. It's fairly bland. It's chunks of potato, mostly in basically a watery gravy with a few like salt is pretty much the extent of it.
No, I got no problem with that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I eat off the land most of the time.
Malvhor doesn't have a problem with it because he's eaten so much of this.
Locke struggles.
He probably does.
Don't think about it, Locke. Just eat it.
I'll eat the rest if you don't want it.
Survive on this?
I mean, that's just it. Survive. No one's thriving.
Is he
here.
like pulls it up and it just like plops in? It's a wonder you lived this long.
I'll just hold my
Why?
empty bowl
Why
out
do you
to
think
him.
we're so short-lived?
I'll eat the rest if you don't want it, and I'll just hold my empty bowl out to him.
I think I've had my fill. Yes.
I'll take it and I'll just go nom 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 nom.
He hands it over and he just takes out the Rador's binder notebook, essentially, or the actual original tome, and begins piecing through it. You guys eat what you can, and if there's anything else you wish to do, otherwise you can take your long rests.
Before I take a long rest,
Okay.
there's something I wish to sneak away and do.
Okay.
Oh, fuck.
I wish to return to the House of Healing.
Okay.
Oh, dear.
Don't oh dear me!
Actually, are you trying to sneak there, or did you tell us
I'm,
where?
I
I
that
was
you're...
about to ask, covertly
I'm trying to
or
sneak
just
there.
going? Okay, go ahead and give me a stealth check.
Okay, never mind then. That's where Monoame is, right?
It is.
Yes.
8!
Okay.
Everyone sees me. I'm not very sneaky.
Well, we're gonna say at this point, Cirion's conked the fuck out. Because that's immediately where he
Yeah.
went. So,
But Vig sees me leave.
yeah, Fig, what... Yeah, everyone's passive perception.
I mean, past perception's usually 10 at a minimum, maybe 9.
Mine's a 14.
Yes, so Fig, you see shortly after a meal, a breakfast, pretty much, you see Malvhor making his way towards the gate of the bastion itself.
Where are you going?
I was going to, go speak with a Cirion.
Oh.
I'm not going to harass him.
I can come with as backup if you need. I have an old order of salves to still pick up from Monoame.
If it's still there, I'd be glad to have you along, Fig.
Okay. I'll
You
stand
two
up.
run off.
Do a big stretch.
Gonna continue reading this. Go on, go have your fun.
Don't lose it, Locke.
Oh, I have no intention of losing. It was the whole reason we came here. Okay, so the two of you head back over towards the House of Healing. You trek the mile or so to the other side of Osgiliath, and the streets are a little bit lively on your way back as the day really begins to arrive. And by lively, it's still mostly soldiers, some of which, as you pass, are a little wounded or being escorted back to the bastion for medical treatment there, or just rest. More serious wounds were sent straight to the House of Healing. But you do eventually get to the house, and you walk inside, and you do come across the individual that sort of greeted you that morning. Oh, back already? I hope there's not more injured.
I mean, as far as I know, I didn't bring any with me.
Well, that's good news. What can I do for you?
I'm here to see a Cirion, the captain under guard.
Can I ask him what this is regards to? Since he's under guard, he's sort of under the jurisdiction of the guard.
It's, I'm going to be questioning him about... I just have a few questions for him.
Okay.
The guards
I
can
do
stay
believe
and
the
listen.
guard-
I
Okay.
don't mind.
That should be fine then. He leads you down a hallway and sort of goes around the inner courtyard, and you come to a small room that has essentially a cot in it. And you see a Cirion inside, 2 guards posted outside. The door is wide open. Cirion is laying flat on the cot, and his tabard and cloth shirt are completely removed, and you see dried blood at this point completely covering the torso, and the 3 large gashes across his abdomen. And you also see it's sort of on the floor next to the cot is a wooden bucket of water. Or at least it probably was water at one point, but you see several dirtied rags just sitting either in the water and on its rim, and it has stained the water red.
Fig's gonna grimace at first, quietly. And she'll mutter under her breath.
This gentleman is here to question the lieutenant. Very well. They sort of slightly step to the side and gesture you in.
Don't worry, boys. I'll leave the door open. Cirion, you feeling any better?
Feel like I was kicked by a Momark.
Yeah, I'd be dead twice over if I had what happened to me happen to you, or what happened to you happen to me.
Truth be told, this is only the second worst feeling I've ever had.
Oh, really? What's the worst?
Points up to his eye patch.
I don't believe I've ever heard that story.
Well, considering the events of last night,
As he looks over, his head rolls over to you, and his other eye opens.
you probably never will.
Oof.
What brings you here?
To talk. I've had strange dreams, Cirion. Dreams of a man in silver armor in an endless desert. Of dreams of malice and evil. They've been plaguing me in various forms for quite a long time.
Sounds like you should talk to somebody about that.
Well, I think I'm talking to somebody right now.
As they're speaking, I'm gonna just go over to the wall and lean against it with a smirk and just kind of rest but stay alert.
You'll forgive me, the army did not give me the proper qualifications for such a talk.
That's fine. I'm not here seeking a therapist. But dreams are funny things, aren't they? Can be windows into our subconscious, windows into maybe even the future. Have you had any strange dreams, Cirion?
Takes a moment. There's a long pause.
I cannot recall any out of ordinary dreams that have transpired in the last few months.
Have you noticed anything strange, no matter how small, anything that made you do a double take or think twice?
The dealings of whatever transpired beneath the city all those weeks ago was definitely something out of the ordinary that called my attention. Just beyond that, I was a little preoccupied with the dealings of Turgon and how things were being conducted.
I imagine that would take up quite a bit of your time. Can I do an insight check?
Go for it.
Just see. Why am I even trying to do this? Why am I even here?
He doesn't even go here.
Seems honest.
You know, I think the people who are behind that are still trying to nudge things, and Osgiliath and Pelagia, all in all of Gondor, in a direction they desire, working from the shadows, pulling strings. It's very hard to track them down. And any detail could aid in bringing those forces of darkness to justice, bring them to light.
Go ahead and give me a persuasion check.
$28. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the rolls I like to see.
28.
Shortly, as best as I can recall, shortly after you first returned to Osgiliath after, I believe it was your first errand for Rador. Excuse me. We were given orders to return to that mine that you cleared out, ensure its safety for future workers to return there, and retrieve anything that may have been interest or value or something that could help in a future investigation. The amount of blood that had been stored away definitely a cause of concern. And we've held on to it ever since. But about a lot I can think of.
Fig, give me a perception check.
I was just gonna ask a question. Okay.
What was your question?
It was going to continue roleplaying, but I'll do a perception first.
Quickly, turn out the lights.
So, okay. Carry on.
Is that what the Horde is, maybe?
Is that the tribute?
Your guess is as good as mine. Though,
As he rubs the side of his neck.
that creature definitely had a taste for such things.
It's
That's why I'm thinking that.
wild, a wild idea. We're in the area. We could take one more day to try and figure it out.
What was that, Lindsay?
What? Ah!
Your whole sentence was gone. Just into the void.
I want to call an Uber now, and I want Lindsay to call them saying exactly that. Pick me up!
It's been a while, but was that also similar to what we found when finding Merwin?
There was some blood there too, yeah. I don't know if it was in similar quantities, but... Well, Cirion. Thank you for talking with me.
There won't be much more for me to do after today. Let the nature of things take their course. Though one might have to wonder how things might be different had they gone a different way. But those are thoughts or dreams, are they not?
Dreams. Dreams indeed. Rest. And dream now if you can through the pain.
I'll do what I can. But we'll see what Turgon decides to do with me.
I don't know if we'll see each other again, Cirion. But regardless, you have had a strong impact on my life. Thank you.
Take care.
I wish I would have talked to a Cirion.
Malvhor, well, you went to bed.
I did. I'm fucking tired.
Malvhor leaves. He's done.
I'll lean forward from the wall, do a big stretch and yawn, and follow Malvhor out. I'm a little nervous about what that failed perception check was.
can only do so much.
Oh, I'm gonna try to, real quick, I'll try to find, Monaame, if not, some sort of counter receptionist.
Just ring a bell. Ding, ding, ding.
It takes you a moment, but you do find Monaame as she's moving between rooms and patients. Oh, Fig dear, what brings you through?
I had left some herbs with you a while ago to make salves out. I do not know if you still have them or not.
Oh, that was weeks ago, almost months. Oh God.
It is all right if they're gone or used for better things.
No, let me take a look. Just give me one moment.
Oh.
Pulls out a laptop.
Let me check the directory.
Pulls out a phone. How the fuck?
She comes back a few moments later with three small, like, crystal glass vials that are corked leather bands that bind them together, and holds out her hand. This is what we can spare, and it's been so long I don't remember how many herbs you gave me, so I don't know how many I was going to make out of them. So you're going to have to take these 3 because it's what we can part with.
Oh, if you need them, then you can.
No, we can part with these, dear. It's fine.
Oh, thank you. I'll take them.
Alright, you can add 3 Athelas salves to your inventory.
Fuck yeah!
Which, in your journal, you should see the actual details on them now.
Cool.
There should be something under items you should see.
Yes, I see it now.
Which, by the way, I believe I told Locke when he passed by here before. But since he's not here, I'm going to tell you, if you find yourself in the Greenwood area, to locate a friend of mine, Lachion. He usually supplies me with some herbs that would be good to have. What?
Does he sound familiar at all? Is my mic just not picking me up?
No, I heard you the second time.
Oh.
He doesn't seem to.
Fucking hell.
Just because you said Greenwood, I was curious.
Yeah. It's a large wood.
Yeah.
I know.
Go ahead and just give me a wisdom check. No, doesn't sound familiar.
Lachion.
Yes, he's in the vicinity of Amon Lung. In southern Amon Lung in southern Greenwood.
I will tell him.
He might have a shipment that he can offload to you and you can bring back to me. But that's of course if you're in the area.
I will pass the message.
Very well, thank you.
Thank you for the salves.
You're quite welcome. Put them to good use.
We will.
Now, if you don't mind, I have work to return to.
Yes. Have a good day. And I'll turn around and go.
I'll have a busy one.
I'll catch up with Malvhor.
Yeah, I was just waiting.
Alright.
I'll hand him one of the Athelas salves.
Okay.
Cool.
He gets 1.
I got this from Manaame.
Appreciated. Thank you.
Flash over to Cirion.
I'll give one to Cirion too when we get back.
Cirion is dead to the world right now.
Is there anything else you guys wish to do here?
Did you find the answers you seek?
Not the answers I seek, but perhaps an answer of a different kind. I have suspicions that the blood recovered from the mines are the tribute that creature seeks, and there's some sort of deal with, I imagine, between Mordu and these creatures that involve this blood as tribute. And by taking it all, bringing it all to Osgiliath, they're denying her that tribute.
Concerned of bad creatures' reach or expanded presence. I only thought they were in Greenwood.
My thought is perhaps we can bargain some of that blood to parley with the creature and learn more information. It is a dangerous plan.
It is. They are not creatures to mess with. I can attest to that.
If I had my way, I wouldn't mess with them, but she has chosen to mess with us, so it is now our problem in a sense. I guess I could just go to Peligir and forget the whole thing. That wouldn't be very heroic.
Well, if she does cross paths with us again, at least that time I can show her how much stronger I was than before.
Before I rest, I wish to, I think I should speak to Captain Turgon at least about my suspicions.
Tired.
Yes,
I
thou rest
will
soon.
go to bed.
I would say good night, but that would be a lie. I guess sweet dreams will suffice.
And better dreams to you, Malvhor.
We shall see what the dreams bring me. But first, I'm off to Captain Turgon.
And part to get some bed. Huh? I said I'll nod and I'll part.
Oh.
Okay. Cut that out.
I heard that from downstairs.
What is wrong with you?
It's Discord, it's not the mic.
Aw.
Don't eat the microphone.
Imagine going to the hospital with that.
Also, it might be a directional mic.
I'm trying to stand. I don't know, but we've tried before. It can't get my higher pitch anything, which is me.
You just baseline high pitch.
Yeah, yeah. I notice like anytime I laugh, 2/3 of it is not caught. So, anyways, I'm leaving because Fig is tired.
Okay.
She took a nasty fall. Her ankle hurts.
Malvhor, you go over towards up the stairs to one of the buildings that you've convened with Turgon before. The door is slightly ajar. It's not fully closed.
I politely knock on it. I'm not gonna barge in.
Enter.
I bet this door's been opening and closing all morning.
You walk in and you see Turgon behind a small desk, and his head looks just like arched backwards, and his hand on his forehead. The actual breastplate armor that he was wearing earlier is just undone on the floor. The shield and sword are rested up against the side of the wall, and he's just sitting there with his hand over his eyes. Yeah. What can I do for you?
Oh, it's more what I might be able to do for you, Captain. I have a theory about that creature.
Sits upright and leans forward on the desk. Well, let me hear it.
You remember that mine that me and my allies cleared out for Rador, and then a Cirion investigated shortly after?
Yes, it was under Rador's advisement, or management, I should say, the whole quarry operation there. At least he assumed the management once something piqued his interest. But yes, I do.
And you recovered large amounts of blood from there. Correct?
I'm sorry?
I mean, blood. Did you recover blood from the mine?
No.
Cirion told me that. They did, right?
Oh boy. Oh no.
Oh.
Uh,
Cirion.
oh.
Cirion said you did.
He said I did, or he did?
He did.
Well, that's very different now, isn't it?
It is. I assumed it was under your orders, which is why I immediately came back to talk to you.
They were under orders to ensure that the mine was safe for return. And that is the report I got.
I believe the missing blood from the mine is the tribute the creature
Why
is
would a
demanding.
Cirion take blood?
I don't know.
Was there anything else in that mine that might be of interest?
That's where we covered the notes we've been researching with Radol to try and get to the bottom of what they were doing in the mine. There were no survivors of the mine.
It's oddly convenient.
It is. Cirion did something with that blood.
Under whose orders, I don't know, and where it might be. But we can begin looking.
Yes. Because if that blood isn't turned up, that creature will return. If my theory is true.
We can begin searching the city, but if nothing turns up in the city, I do not know where to search from there.
I apologize for adding another headache to your day, but
It never ends.
it doesn't seem to.
But if you want to do something actually and give me useful information, maybe go talk to that creature and go see what it actually wants before we go find a needle in a haystack.
That was my plan. I was going to take some of the blood that was recovered from the mine and try to parlay with the creature and get information. Makes it difficult if I don't have a large barrel of blood to offer it.
Stupid question, but do you know anybody where you could find such a thing?
There's a lot of people bleeding in the houses of healing right now.
Ooh.
It's a macabre. Dance macabre. It's a macabre thought, but
Macabre.
thank you.
Don't know if that was Brian actually trying to correct Matt or the captain.
You'll never know.
Relay orders to the houses of healing to store as much blood as they can from the wounded.
Give me a persuasion check.
I feel like, I'm giving him an order, but I'm trying to make it sound like a
At
suggestion.
Disadvantage.
Oh
At
my
disadvantage.
God.
I feel I'm trying to give it I'm trying to make it a suggestion. 19.
19.
Not bad.
Do you still plan on leaving the city?
If I have something to parlay with the creature with, I was planning on staying for a couple more days to achieve that. However, if not, my heart is in Pelagir. I do need to return there.
Let me think on this for a bit. Return to Peligir. We can continue searching on our own. See what we might come up with. I know you were here, you were dispatched here for your own endeavors, and best not to keep certain things waiting.
Can I do an insight check on him? Make sure he's on the up and up.
Go for it.
I mean, I have a +1, 3.
He is exhausted.
You tried.
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah, he is exhausted. So for the most part, you get the vibe that he's just not
Yeah.
there to deal with anything. He's just like, okay, let's go. Let's
Okay,
let
Captain.
me-"
Sounds like a plan. I'm off to
Don't
bed.
worry, Captain. We'll buff out the scratches.
My companions have already found their pillows. My thoughts are too restless.
Cirion is dead to the world right now.
After last night, we all are. Go get your rest.
And I'll do just that.
Okay. You all return to the mercenary barracks for the most part. Smaller, more compact than the actual army barracks.
Is it shared? Is it shared?
Shared. Oh,
That's what I thought. Okay.
yeah, it's just shared. Cirion's in one corner snoring. Locke, still a little bit awake, and he's sitting in a chair next to Cirion's cot, and he's just got his feet up on the edge reading through the leather tome.
Fig is gonna be like half undressed because she was too tired to go all the way, and she'll just be like conked out on a cot.
Yep. You all sort of nod off and get your long overdue rest ever since leaving Peligir. And you can all take a long rest. And as you're doing that, that's where we're gonna take a break.
Yay! More tea.
Yay!
More whiskey. Wait,
So don't go
Oh,
anywhere.
water.
Handle the second half.
part 2.
Hail, adventurer! Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you've intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next TTRPG session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and PlateMail games. And whether your game is in person or virtual, you won't be limited, as you will have access to a caster and a mixer to be able to broadcast the tracks to all of your players. And of course, if you want to download and keep any tracks, then you get 20% off all in-store purchases. So what are you waiting for, adventurer? A quest posting at the local guild hall? Get over to battlebards.com and subscribe today, and use the coupon code ADVENTURE at checkout. Stay proficient, adventurers. Hail, adventurer! Are you a dungeon master with a desire to transport your players to fantastical settings? Perhaps they are deep in the dungeon of a mad lich.
Fools, you have intervened for the last time. Let's see you survive my fireball.
Or perhaps the party has just come across bandits, and the Goliath monk releases a flurry of blows and a stunning strike to gain control of the conflict. Nice rolls on the attack. Or maybe the party is taking a breather after another difficult quest. If this sounds like something you want at your next ttrpg session, then head over to battlebards.com. By subscribing to BattleBards Prime, you get the ability to immerse your players in your campaign. You'll get complete streaming access to the libraries of both BattleBards and Platemail games. And whether your game is in person or virtual, you won't be limited, as you will have access to a caster and a mixer to be able to broadcast the tracks to all of your players. And of course, if you want to download and keep any tracks, then you get 20% off all in-store purchases. So what are you waiting for, adventurer? A quest posting at the local guild hall? Get over to battlebards.com and subscribe today, and use the coupon code ADVENTURE at checkout. Stay proficient, adventurers.
All right. So, for the sake of timetables and getting your guys' sleep schedule back into where it's supposed to be,
We gotta take a
gonna-
down day.
we're gonna say you sleep through this day and do as much as you can to just wear yourselves out and go to bed at a normal time. Stay there one more day. You wake up and now it is morning. And you're back to where you need to be.
I want to stuff myself with all the honey cakes on the down day to just go back to sleep.
Well, you'd have to make them because there's currently no baker in town.
Dang it!
Pick up baking as a hobby.
Yeah.
Can you imagine fig baking though?
Try it, Fig. Here, Fig. Let's try baking.
All right, beat the dough.
That's a lot of gluten.
That would-
We'll call
That'd
that the
be fun.
beginning of the pizza diet.
Oh, like this. Is this good?
But for the most part, you take an extra day in Osgiliath just to sort of get back into some semblance of normalcy before determining what your next steps are. So if there was anything during that time of while being in Osgiliath, essentially of downtime that you want to do or accomplish, feel free to speak up. Otherwise, you guys come to the morning of essentially 2 days since you arrived. What would you like to do?
Well, we should, I talked to, Captain Turgon.
I need to go do that as well.
Yes,
At some
perhaps
point.
you should. And then we can touch base after you do that.
Well, I was thinking, get something to eat in my stomach, and then I go meet the captain. Okay, go team. And I'm gonna leave and go get something to eat.
All right. Cirion walks out.
Yeah, he has to go talk to the captain.
Locke knows in the book. Moody as always.
Yeah, he hasn't had his ale yet this morning.
Well, from what
It's
I
nice.
hear, the whole town's dry, so I don't know where he's going to find that.
Just hear Syria like walking down, like he's not even in earshot. You hear,
And there it is.
Or even better, just downstairs. Fuck!
Locke, what do you think of using a giant barrel of blood to parlay with that creature to gain more information?
I like this
Depends.
plan less. Now that you say it again.
Depends entirely on the nature of the blood. How did you obtain it? Who did it come
Well,
from?
it's very interesting, you see, because a Cirion recovered the blood that was left in the mine that we cleared. But Captain Turgon has no knowledge of that blood. And I'm pretty sure that's I'm pretty sure that's the same blood that the creature was demanding as tribute.
It's a possibility, for sure. But at this point, do we know which one is telling the truth?
For all I know, they can both be lying. At the end of the day, we did get what we need. I did already talk to Captain Turgon about potentially parlaying with the creature. He says he'll think on it.
Well, Valor no, we don't answer to him, so if we can parlay with it, then far be it for us to wait on his accord.
Could we find the blood ourselves here?
We'd have to talk to Cirion again. And I made a very dramatic exit yesterday where I said I probably wouldn't see him again.
I wonder, Fig, do you recall that warehouse we investigated prior to our speedy exit from Osgiliath?
Oh, yes.
There was a cellar in there to where I found a particular blade that I did some research on in Pelagia, but there were all manner of items in there. I wonder if it was among that.
We could pay it a visit.
Someplace like that could be a place to hide blood here in Osgiliath. Where else?
It could be, and at the time it was also under Gondorian guard. And if we're not sure which party is doing the lying right now, we can't very much well waltz up to it and be like, "Hi, let us in."
I might be able to. Might be able to convince the
Maybe,
guards.
but are you willing to bet your life on that one?
Can we please do that?
Hey, listen, I bet my life every time I get out of bed. Getting out of bed is a life and death situation for me.
Perhaps you should sleep a little closer to the ground then.
Or is this worth going to Rador first about?
Going to Rattle's
Well-
not simple, because it's going to be a week to get there one way at least.
Well, whatever you decide to do, as he closes the book and tosses it on the bed and stands up, you best make your decision. Myself, as he picks up a pack, I have business to attend to elsewhere.
Oh, you leaving?
Yes, I'm afraid I must depart. Of some research I wish to conduct on my own.
Are you leaving Rattle's
It's-
notes with us?
I am. I believe I've had my fill, and there's a lot of it I can't make out. But having a longer period of time with it to read through it, I've been able to glean a little bit more than what we've known up to this point. There's notes and construction plans, for lack of a better term, because there's no sense of scale, there's no measurements, there's just a design, and it's an archway or a gateway of sorts that I could find. It's very crudely sketched, but if I had any idea, I imagine that's probably what that dark ore they were mining was for. It was probably to build that. There's also several mentions of various items, substances, essences. It varies depending on the translation and the year of focuses, things that will be used in whatever ritual we may have interrupted or apparently saved, if we're looking from the perspective of Mordu, of why he needed a reason to thank us. That one still bugs me. But depending on what you interpret from this, an essence or a substance could easily be a creature or some sort of magically imbued item, but most of those are crafted by the elves.
So,
Good
an
worry.
elf would have to be involved. Maybe.
It's an option for sure, and I believe if that's going to be the case, that is partially why I must depart.
Hmm.
There's a few things I want to seek out on my own, especially since what I found in the warehouse here that I was able to investigate. It sort of ties my people into all of this, I think. And something Mordu said to me in that cavern hasn't left my mind, and I feel like it is something I need to pursue.
Well,
But this tome, the last little bits that I could pull out of, sort of lines up what we've been told so far. But I believe this arch that's being constructed is supposed to act as a portal or a gateway to bring something from another side, from another realm here. And I shudder to think what that could be. For all I know, this could open up a doorway straight to Valinor. And if that's the case, then perhaps we've been thinking about this all wrong. Anyway. I'm no scholar by any means, so this definitely isn't my strong suit. I'm a smith by trade.
I don't think we have one scholar among us.
Didn't Cirion meet some young human scholar back in Pelargir? Maybe he has some insight. I don't know. Rador is currently our only source for this information. He's the only one who, one, has the know-how to decipher all this and is apparently fascinated enough with it.
Well,
And we return to him sooner than later. It sounds like.
we will discuss that when Cirion returns, but, Locke. Safe journeys. And don't be gone too long, because, next thing you know, you'll blink, a decade will have passed, and I'll be dead.
Don't go dying on me just yet. I don't know how long I'll be gone, but I believe our paths may yet cross again.
I hope they do.
Stay safe.
You as well, friend.
Keep an eye on them.
Who's that?
I said I will keep an eye on them.
Oh, I thought you told him to keep an eye on them.
Okay, now we're just gonna twiddle our thumbs and wait for Cirion to return.
Is there right outside the barracks? If I remember correctly, there's like a big courtyard, right? Like the whole thing is like.
It's a muster field, yeah.
Are there like little training posts or whatever?
There's a few of them.
I'll go out to one. I'm gonna decide to just loosen up, and I'm gonna take my boots off so my feet are in the ground and between my toes. And then I'm going to just hack away with my axe and just like do some maneuvers.
Maneuvers, okay.
But they're probably like not conventional at all, because one, being raised and possibly trained by elves, two, God only knows what she learned before that.
No, my God.
After a bit, you tend to your exercise routine and sort of keep your skills sharp. Cirion returns, and the three of you have a moment to speak after Locke has departed.
Oh, Cirion just went to eat breakfast.
Yeah.
I thought he went to
I
talk
thought I was
to the
gonna go
captain.
meet the captain right after.
Oh, if that's what you wanted,
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. All right.
I probably could have been a little bit more clear about that. Sorry.
You go up to Cyrion's office. Door is wide open, and he just.
I have an
slumped
office?
Over. Sorry, Turgon's.
It's your office now, Turgon.
Yes.
He sort of slumped over his desk with a quill in one hand, and he's just resting his head on his head, his hand on his head on his hand. God Almighty.
I'll just kind of look at him and go, "Is this a bad time, sir?"
You would be hard pressed to find a good time at this point. What can I do for you?
I was hoping to discuss whatever you wanted to talk about, sir.
Right, as he puts down the quill in an inkwell and folds up the parchment, takes a candle and a wax seal and presses into it. Runner! Take this to the west gate. Dispatch it to Minas Tirith. At haste. Cirion, I believe that the two of us had a bit of animosity towards one another for a while, especially in the last, we'll say, few months.
Animosity is putting it kindly, sir.
It's what I do, is I numb the pain. Now, I understand the course of events that we had were not ideal. And I am not here to plead for your understanding or your forgiveness for my actions. I merely did what I believe was best for the city, and I would do it again. And I know, in situations that you've been in the defense of a city, for the charge with the protection of a city, that you would make hard decisions as well, ones that you believed and full-heartedly knew others would not agree with.
Are there chairs in this office by any chance?
There's one across his desk, yeah.
I'm gonna go, like, kind of mad as all that. Just pick it up, just shuck it at him, and be like, "We're done here." No, I'm kidding. Okay, so I kind of like just walk, not like a saunter, but just like very like, I don't want to say cautiously even, but just kind of like a slow-paced walk to the chair, and just kind of like adjust my sword so I can kind of like just sit down and go. You sir are right. I don't agree with your actions, but I do understand. But the difference was, and I don't know your end, correct me if I'm wrong, you weren't persecuted and hated for your actions.
Not yet. While from your perspective, this situation is resolved and tied up neatly, the fallout from it will go well beyond today. But that is not why I brought you here. This is not what I mean to discuss.
And I'll kind of like lean forward in my chair a little bit. Then what do you, sir?
Your feelings towards me and my actions are quite honestly irrelevant to me. I did what I had to do. Asked you here because as he sort of leans back and like you hear the sound of a wooden drawer being pulled out, and he picks up two small carved cups made out of horn of some sort and puts them down, and you hear a cork being popped off, and he pours a dark brownish liquid into both. Bloop. Picks up one and just slides the other one over towards you.
And I'll pick it up. And I'll smell it, and I'll go. And do I recognize the smell?
It's a straight alcohol, basically. It burns.
And I'll say, I'm gonna smell it, kind of like go like, just kind of like a little smirk. It's like, you say you don't care about my forgiveness, yet this is a pretty damn good way to get towards it.
This is not for forgiveness. This is to make the next bit of news I share with you a bit easier to swallow.
Well, smelling this might not be easy to swallow either, sir.
I understand that you were charged with the defense of one of the walls for Minas Morgul. Minas Ethel.
You can call it what it is now, sir. We all know it. And if we're gonna keep reminding me of my failures, I'm gonna take a drink of it, just a straight shot of it, and set it down in front of him, slide the glass towards him. You're gonna want to keep refilling that, sir.
Well, one of my contacts, as he pulls up the bottle, glug, glug. I have a few contacts that I use to leverage information to feed back to here. One of which has been tasked with, not by me, but I am one that procures the information and sends it back up towards Minas Tirith. I am privy to such communications and can take leave of their contents if I need to, based on any sort of defense needed for us Gileath. Cirion, I'm not going to pretend I understand what happened in Minas Ethel, and I can only imagine the chaos and failure of the defense that may have transpired.
I'm gonna just kind of like whisper under my breath, you can imagine. And I'll take another drink of what he gave me.
But there has been a belief among a few survivors, very few survivors, and some of the higher up generals within Gondor. While the enemy's forces were substantial and Minas Ethel lacked the proper reinforcements and supplies necessary to mount such a defense, the crumbling of its defenses were too convenient and too easy. We believe at least one individual was responsible for sabotaging a bit of the defenses and may even possibly opening the gate.
And Cirion is just gonna straight pause. Like everything in his world just kind of stops, and he looks at the captain. Just kind of goes like just kind of like this with my face right now. It's like, takes a drink, and just his fist comes to the table. What?
Exactly. Now,
Who did it?
we are still working on figuring that part out.
Then point me in the right direction so I can put this motherfucker in the ground.
I will point you in the right direction when we have a direction to point you in.
So Cirion kind of leans back in his chair. So we have the intel, but no name.
It could be one name, it could be multiple names. We're not sure yet. We are hedging towards at least one mastermind individual, and the rest were either scattered to the wind or, quite honestly, betrayed by their own. Orcs and the Nazgul are not exactly known for their hospitality. They either very
Say that again.
They either very much became slaves within the enemy's ranks, or were given riches and a cushy lifestyle far from here. So that's where we're looking. If I do receive any word of such individuals existing, my contact will reach out to you.
And I'm gonna finish out the drink he gave me, put it down, and pretty much like slide it for one more drink. So you're telling me my men, their families, their wives, their kids, all owe that destruction to one motherfucker who is still out there right now, who lost the city that I was blamed for, that I have been crucified for, and I have lost everything. And he is still out there.
He holds up his cup. From one captain to another, it appears we have something in common now.
I'll take my glass, not breaking any eye contact with him. Take a drink. Still just like, I would say just like a sip. What have you been crucified for, Captain? I'm curious. You're sitting behind a desk, and I am out here right now. I've been in prison, on the run, a fugitive, and lost everything. Please, sir, enlighten me.
I have to tell several wives and children that their fathers, their husbands, their brothers just died 2 nights ago because of one man. While the scale may be different, the pain is no less. Now, if we can think clearly and keep a level head, Cirion, then we can still yet get what we need.
And Cirion kind of like bows his head as he says that, and I'm still listening.
You need to keep your head.
Speaking of heads, would you like his back on a pike? Or should I just report back when he's in the ground?
This is beyond me, Cirion.
I'll bring my head up and take another drink.
I'm currently just an information broker, a glorified clerk in this instance. But if you want those deaths to mean something, if you want everything that individual took from you, if you want something to feel about it, then you need to keep fighting. And that doesn't mean letting your head off and killing everything in sight. You need to be patient. We have Rangers and Marines working on this. And when the time comes, I'll be sure that you hear about it and that you have a seat at the table.
I'll kind of like just like look around the room, kind of like pondering for a second and go. As soon as any form of information or name comes up, you point my blade in the right direction.
The moment we get anything actionable, my contact will reach out to you.
Then at this point, I kind of lean towards the table a little bit. You got yourself a blade, sir.
Very good. Now go clear your head.
But first, a toast. Let's put all this garbage and everything else behind us. And let's start new and with a same goal and a same enemy in mind. I will look past the prison. I will look past everything as I understand hard decisions require hard sacrifices. I am a Gondorian soldier as much as you, and a captain as much as you. You point my blade in the right direction, and I will make sure that that bastard's head will be on a pike, and I will deliver it. Are we agreed?
To our enemies.
To Gondor. And then Cirion will place a cup down on the table, stand up, and just go, if I may take my leave. Unless there's anything else you wish to discuss.
No, that is all. You're free to go.
I'll stand straight, and then turn, and then begin to make my way out.
Sure. Head back down, across the muster field, back towards the barracks.
On my way out, though, so like once I'm kind of like clear of like guards or anything, I'm just gonna like just straight punch a wall. Like not like doing damage or anything, but just out of frustration of everything I just heard.
Sure. Hand comes away a little red, a little tender. But you make your way back towards the barracks, where you find only two of your companions. Locke, nowhere to be found.
So I'll come back, I'll address my companions. Well, glad to see I left you all where I found you. Or found you where I left you, whatever you want to call that. I might have had a couple drinks with the captain.
Yeah, I can smell it, kid.
Yeah, smell this. And I flip off Malvhor.
Fair. So, now that we're all gathered, we need to discuss where we'll go, what our next plan is. We could try investigating the city and finding the blood and trying to parlay with the creature to gain information. Or we can return to Pelagear with Rattle's notes. By returning to
Really quick, before we talk anymore, it's about time I told the both of you something. And I'm gonna tell Vig and Malvhor about my time as captain, the failed defense of Minas Ithil, now Minas Morgul, and basically the loss and everything that kind of came out of it. Like the whole details of everything, and basically up to the point, or to the points that they don't know about.
Oh.
I know it's a lot I just threw at you both.
It's a lot for you, kid. It's a lot to carry.
Other than the alcohol, where is this coming from?
Because it's leading up to what I want to tell the both of you right now. The attack on Minas Ithil and this one, in a way, could be connected. And that's what I talked to Captain Turgon about.
Well, considering...
One single person is responsible for the fall of one city and the potential fall of another.
We will keep that in mind, but since we don't have any details about the culprits behind...
While we don't, I'm going to keep my eyes out for this person. We might as well also, and bring that person to justice.
Indeed, the creature that attacked Osgiliath a few nights ago may have more information.
They could. But Captain Turgon said he had informants everywhere. He didn't have a name yet, but they just know it was one person. Notice it was one person, not really one creature. So who knows? But in the meantime, that's what he wanted to talk to me about, and I wanted to share that with you. Both.
I appreciate you, opening up, kid. Takes a lot of strength to do that.
Well, there's a decent amount of alcohol in me.
Indeed.
But I essentially, in a way, pledged Captain Turgon my sword. In a way, once he finds the name or anything, you both can join me. You both cannot. It's up to you. But I'm going to make sure that bastard's head rolls. Any of you two got a problem with that?
No. It's a lot for you to carry.
It's my responsibility to bear.
Someday you're gonna have to forgive yourself, kid.
I'll forgive it when that bastard's head rolls on the floor and his corpse lays in front of me.
I heard a phrase once that when you seek revenge, you dig 2 graves. Just make sure you're not digging your own grave, kid.
What the captain said helped me in a way. I have to stay level-headed about this. I will not raise cities or destroy families to find this one. But I will do what is necessary to capture him, kill him, and make sure I can go to the families of all the men that have suffered. And let them know the person responsible is dead. It's not revenge. It's justice.
There's a very fine line between those two.
2 sides of one coin.
And I will kind of like sit forward in a chair, taking a little bit more serious tone. And will you two make sure I walk the right line?
I've always got your back, kid.
And I kind of glance my eyes over to Fig.
Oh, hello.
I missed you there for a second.
I know.
What'd you say? I missed what you said.
I will not get in someone's way of something like this. Unless it calls for it.
Very well. So I have my mission. And at some point it may come up. But now, what have we decided to do next?
Well, that's what we have to discuss. The creature may still be in the vicinity of Osgiliath, which would be a prime opportunity to try and parley with it. If we return to Pelagier now, the creature may return to the Greenwood, but even then I doubt it, because the creature was denied tribute, and I imagine will remain in the area and continue harassing Osgiliath until the tribute is met, or the creature dies. We're in the area. We don't have access to the blood yet, but Locke did say we could investigate it on our own. Wynn has been allowed to do something, stopped us. Or we could take what we came here for and return back to Pelagier.
I think we should head back.
Great.
Okay. I'm not gonna argue with seeing Goldwyn again, so.
Agree that. Fuck this mic. There it is. I agree that this creature won't be leaving this area anytime soon. Perhaps they may even follow to an extent to seek the tribute elsewhere.
Oh, I don't think the creature cares about us. Well, maybe about you, Fig. You seem to have a personal relation with it, or history.
Say what now?
Yeah,
Oh.
Fig met the creature once when she was younger.
Oh.
A
And you
friend.
And you don't know what it is?
No. It was dark in a cavern when we came across them, and they sounded like bats coming in, so we ducked, only to start getting ripped apart.
Huh.
My arm a little bit.
So this thing is associated with a bat?
Based on the wings we saw that night of between Turgon and Cirion, perhaps, but the best thing I could describe them as at the time was a bat-like creature of sorts, but it was dark again.
Is there any chance, after hearing Vig's description of it, I have a better idea of what we're dealing with, or maybe heard of?
You can give me a history or a lore check.
Do history, I'm proficient. Wait.
You have inspiration?
I do, but I also have a free reroll.
Oh.
Roll 20. You know what? I'm burning my roll 20 coupon.
Wow.
For this.
I have inspiration for later for a reroll if needed. There we go!
Alright,
I got to leave my roll 20 coupon now.
That's funny.
Yeah, so
Brian's
for anyone
face.
watching, if anyone watching, Brian posted something on his story, long story short, that he thought none of us would saw. But I saw it, bitches! Use it wisely. Okay, but I'm deleting it now, so I use it. Anyway.
You know, is early history, and a lot to the point where it's just sort of a blip on the radar of things, and for the most part is forgotten about. Bat-like creatures come in into story early on during Morgoth's tyranny, during the War of Wrath, and they were essentially almost hybrid-esque creatures that took the form of a bat but also were humanoid, and for the most part they were seen mostly as monstrous, almost only thing human being about them was sometimes their face, and actually walked around looking like large bats. What you did see the other night seemed a little bit less than that. It seemed more humanoid than bat-like, but it did have bat elements. These were, for lack of a better term, known as vampires, and they were sustained on blood, and they were creatures in servants. They were creatures in service to Morgoth. For the most part, they were nearly wiped out, and there was always one sort of at the head of this, not even an order, but like this group, and it was essentially the Great Vampire, the Great Bat. That's all that pretty much gleams from it, that has popped up here and there throughout history.
Okay. So then I'll kind of like voice that to them. It's like, sounds like we're dealing with some kind of vampire.
That's a weird word for it. What kind of word is vampire?
A vampire.
I've only heard legends about it, but there's some kind of hybrid creatures just seen as monsters. And didn't take kindly to that. We got the creatures that they are right now.
Well, they are not to be taken lightly at all.
From what I briefly saw and heard, I agree.
I think we had her on the ropes.
I came late, so I don't know what to tell the both of you.
It's
Don't know how the fight went.
it's
She
hard
fled.
to tell. She did look like she would.
She did the one thing nobody in Middle-earth has ever been able to do. She got Captain Turgon, Lieutenant Cirion, an orc, Fig, and me all to attack her at the same time.
That's just one of them, too.
She has inspired more unity in Middle-earth than any other creature. I think we should give her a reward. I jest.
To give her a trophy.
Well, if we're returning to
I-
Pelagier, I don't think there's any more time to kill. We might as well get on the road.
Yes. The sooner we get that journal to Rador for safekeeping, the better.
And just resolve minor political conflicts on our way. Yeah, but it'll be nice to travel and not be fugitives. Even though I guess we weren't before, but we thought we were, and that's what counts.
Would have been nice to know.
Hey, if we see that ranger in Pelagier again, we can
Woo!
we can properly
Not a
introduce
Cirion.
ourselves.
All right. So the three of you, with what Locke left behind, gather your things and head out into the early afternoon of Osgiliath. Head for the western gate for Pelennor.
Oh, wait. Cirion, here. I'll give him an Athla salve.
I'll kind of like grab it, look at it, and go, the hell did you get this?
Mana Ame. Why?
Just curious. Not something you're randomly given.
I don't understand.
Just a rare item that you're not usually given. Thank you.
Okay.
Sometimes I want to say Vig is like me, no understand.
No, in her mind it was, what are you talking about? You can find these herbs like almost all the time and make salve, huh?
I know, but like giving a sound like that is like, all right, cool, thank you. Where the hell?
Okay. As you head out the western gates and step onto the road, cutting through Peligir, or cutting through Pelennor, God almighty.
Brian!
Ah!
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 Timed it perfectly.
Who will be acting as guide?
Oh,
Oh boy.
right.
I was guide last time.
I don't care. Do you want to be it or do you want to be something else?
I do not care. I'm equally useless in all positions.
I'll be guide this time. Let's mix it up. Let's have some chaos.
Okay, go for it.
We're fucked, but fuck it. This group needs some chaos in their lives.
Are you kidding? Between two, there's plenty. The two of you always group up together to be the chaotic team duo thing.
Yeah, I never know how that happens with me and Matt. Somehow me and Matt become like the best buddies in game. We just make fucking havoc, and
especially as Thea, it was the most overwhelming thing because I was like, why am I the only one that's trying to think about things here and not just move
we're
forward?
the mom of the group.
Yeah, no, that became Nayla somehow. She just got pissy about it all. Thea was just like, guys, can we not?
Oh, but we did.
That leaves Lookout, Hunter, and Scout. Who wants what?
Which one do you want, Matt?
Honestly, take whichever one you want, because, like I said, I'm equally terrible at everything. Like, I'm
What
all social.
are the attributes for Scout and Lookout again?
Let me pull up the book.
I think the Scout is the stealthy stealth and Lookout's the perception.
Probably.
I can Scout then.
You can scout and hunt.
Scout.
Since you like hunting
Can I
so
take
much.
them?
Yeah, there's only three of us.
I'm going to leave whatever one's open as a group effort.
Ah! We can do hunting as a group effort.
Okay.
Basically,
Oh,
when it
unless-
when it comes time, if there's a time that role has to make a check, I'll leave it up to the group who makes it.
Oh.
That's how I'm gonna handle a three-party system, three-party system at this one.
Okay. Whatever you want to do, Matt. I assumed too early that you wanted to be Lookout after that.
Okay, you
Sorry.
know what? I'll be Hunter. If we're really
Go for
mixing
it.
it up.
Okay, and you said Scout, or did you say Lookout?
I'll be Scout.
Okay. Okay. Cirion, go ahead and give me an embarkation roll, which is going to be a d12. You can add your survival bonus, and then half of your wisdom modifier.
Oh boy! This is where we all die.
Love the confidence.
No, because we all switched is what I meant, not just you.
I know, but we need some chaos in this group.
There's plenty!
More.
I don't know if that's what you need, but sure.
You don't think me putting my hair on my side to cover half of my face and look like the girl from what's it called? Chaotic enough?
The Grudge.
Yes.
Anywho, 13.
13.
Guys, I'm just gonna say that's probably one of the highest rolls, the second highest roll I could possibly do.
All right.
High rolls aren't necessarily good on or bad
Yep,
on these
not in
checks.
this case.
They're a bit randomized.
Ew. Oh my.
13. All right. So with the bit of musty and humid air from the thunderstorms over the last day, you guys head out through the gates of Osgiliath and trek the familiar road through Pelennor to make your way through the Epoch, and then make the final leg of the journey southward towards Peligir. It's a different feeling this time, leaving Osgiliath. Felt like you've tied up some loose ends, but now there's a new threat, a new entity that has perched itself and is harrying the city. So there's a bit of conflict in you all, of you did some good here, but now you're leaving it when there is still a threat present. So it's a little bit of mixed emotions for you all. Needless to say, you've made your decisions and see it fit to fulfill one task before getting into another. So you press on. And the sun begins to arch throughout the day, and the shadows grow shorter, and then begin to grow longer. And you set your eyes on Peligir. And that's where we're going to end tonight.
Damn.
Oh boy.
Getting as far away from the vampire as you can.
Just kidding, they're
Sounds good to me.
everywhere.
Yeah, that's my theory right now. It's like, I think they're closer than we think.
I mean, I really wanted to just go parlay with the vampire right now.
I am not keen on seeing her anytime soon.
She seems a very reasonable person. She just wants what's owed to her.
Sure. Sure. First impressions are not always the best ones.
But you'll return to Peligir and whatever that journey entails, and reconvene with Rador and see what transpires with that. Questions upon questions, answers beget questions. I'm sure all of you have little gears turning on what might be transpiring here. But that's all for us tonight. So we'll be back next week for more, and we'll see where we go from here. Have a good night, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And as always, stay proficient.